What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Built by Bailey's. If this is your first time, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button before we move any further. This video is going to address a very potential, let's just call it a large oversight on our part, potentially creating a lot more, not only work, but spending a lot more money. And I'm actually out here at the Nook job site to do some more measurements for our underground service. We recently just got our pole and our transformer set by the electrical company out here. It's been a long time coming. If you guys have been watching the other videos in this playlist for the Nook, you can see behind me we've got snow. We didn't have snow when we started because it was summer. That doesn't mean that we were waiting the whole time for electrical service, but it was basically going on the whole time. Enough said on that. Here's what we got going on. We have built our structure in what we thought was, and we still believe, the perfect location for this 3-acre site. Just based on where some rock outcroppings were placed, the level area for our site itself, and the fact that it has the best views in the entire, I think, the entire subdivision. But at the same point, it's giving us the best place to build our structure. However, we have a potential issue with the electrical run, and we're going to get into that next. So what we've got going on is a long run from our service from the electrical company up to the structure itself. And what we're working with right now is about 486 feet of underground line we have to set, which is going to put us right around a 4/0, well, that's not right around, it's going to put us at 4/0 underground copper. Now, if we go past 500 feet of underground, we're going to have to drop to 250 MCKILs. It's not even going to be a 2/0 service, it's going to be 250. And I know that may not mean a lot to most people watching this right now, but what it actually means in layman's terms is going to an even bigger line underground, which is more difficult to work with, but more importantly, a lot more money being spent on material, and also an even bigger voltage drop from our service from the electrical company up to the actual structure itself. We've got 200 amps running currently at the pole. If we can go with 4/0, and I'm going to go ahead and remeasure for the 14,000th time here from two different directions, one from the electrical easement and one straight up the driveway, which is where we would like to run it. And I'll tell you why in a second. If we go to a bigger line from 4/0, it's more difficult to work with, but a lot more money. And that's going to be potentially catastrophic for a budget. It's going to be a budget killer on that section or that line item. And this is something you have to think about when you're building, is how far away from the actual service that's going to be dropped are you going to be? And is it worth the money, extra money being spent and the time and potentially working with a more difficult material to get your dream spot on your build? We're going to see. So when we did our driveway, we had run the driveway in what we thought was the most efficient location. However, as it was, we also had a lot of blasting to do. We had a lot of rock to blast out of the way to actually get us to where we need to be grade-wise, especially in the first 100 feet of our driveway. And because we built right on top of a spine for the driveway, there was a lot of blasting that occurred. Now, most of that rock is now gone. We have a 2-foot trench we have to do for the electrical service, and it's not super wide. However, there's a potential, because we graded down, that we could run into more rock running up the driveway. The alternative is to run out to our west here and come up the electrical easement and over where there's not any rock, but that's going to leave us a lot longer run of an underground trench, and then therefore push us over the 500-foot mark, and that's going to be where we have to go into a bigger line, even more voltage drop, even more money. So what I'm going to do here, and I know this is long-winded, is I'm going to go and measure what our distance is from the pole across the driveway, up the electrical easement, back over to our structure, And then I'm going to go and measure again from the drop we have now at the electrical pole up our driveway on the left-hand side to our structure and see what those two distances are and see what options we have at this point before we order our material and start digging our trench. So I'm going to go measure this stuff. We're going to see what we got. I'm going to cross our fingers we can go up the driveway and not hit any rock, and if it is, it's going to be very, very minimal. So potentially catastrophic. We're going to get it figured out, but this could be a big F up on my part and an oversight. This is what happens in the world of construction. So let's go take a look and let's go measure this thing now.
Okay, so you guys saw some of the drone footage as I was talking there in the video. This is actually the driveway going up to the property I was talking about. Out there on the right-hand side, you could actually see where the easement lied. And this is me and Evan measuring up across the property on the basically the east side of the driveway, if you're looking at the property to the left, and measuring across from the utility pole that got dropped back to the driveway, basically shortest point of entry for our underground. This is all the rock area that I'm talking about that we'd end up potentially having to blast again like we did on the driveway itself. And there's back looking up at the property where we're going to have to somehow jog around that and get to the back. All right, one more time, heading back out from the structure itself, back down the driveway, which you can see there on the left. It's certainly not finished, but this is kind of the location we're looking at. There's a utility pole across the road from our property. And then we're going to turn back around. We're going to look back up the road and the utility easement and the driveway itself right there. And this is kind of what we're up against, is this rocky area coming across from the utility pole that has been set. Underground line to back to the driveway, then up the driveway, like I said, so we can avoid some more blasting. And then go from there up the driveway back around to the back end of the property itself. That's the idea at this point. I don't think we have any other solution as far as running more overhead before we drop down based on price for that scope of work itself.
Okay, so we are over 600 feet no matter which way we skin this sucker. I'm coming up about 20 yards east of our driveway is where our pole was set, our electrical pole from the electrical company. We've got to come back across, as you guys could see there, to the driveway, and then like I said, my plan was to run up the driveway since we've already blasted for the driveway to avoid any more rock. That's going to put us at like 630 feet with 10 feet going to each side, going up to the meter at the pole and going up about 10 feet to our electrical panel, just giving us run through our riser, just a little bit of excess room. Cutting across is an option, and if you can see here, when I say cutting across, we're going to zoom all the way down there. There's our pole. Cutting across here to the driveway right there will gain me about 50 feet. Problem with that is we're going to run into rock guaranteed. So we're going to be blasting through there for sure. And now I'm disturbing more soil, which I'd rather not do. So our best option really is to come up the driveway and hope we can avoid rock. That being said, I think we can get away with, it sounds like with my master electrician Casey, who's calculating some of this stuff too, we can still get away with 4/0 line at this distance because we actually get about a 5% drop in voltage per code. So we can go from 200 amps to 125 at the house at that 600 foot level without having to go to a bigger sized line. Now, I'm still wondering if we should go to bigger size line at this point regardless, but based on the measurements, I think we'll be okay. Other option is to have the electrical company come out and stick another pole out, maybe another 100 feet up the driveway, kind of catty corner from where our service is dropped right now, and that could get us, that could buy us about 100 feet of not having to trench. So the caveat there is I don't know when they would be able to do it, and I don't know what the cost of that is going to be. So there's a lot of cost analysis. There's a lot of brainstorming here. It's going to have to happen. I'm going to get with Evan and we're going to figure out which is our best option. We'll probably have another conference call with Casey as well. But that's the scenario. So lesson learned. This is not something I actually thought about, honestly, because of how far we'd have to trench, putting the house here, and then how much rock we actually were going to run into. I'm actually surprised at how much rock we've already encountered just for the driveway, the septic, and the excavation for the structure. We have a lot of shot rock left. We have a plan for that. I've already talked about that. All right, guys, that's it. That's hopefully you guys learned a little bit from that. Hopefully this video will help people avoid this mistake. We'll see. Hopefully you see the video if you're planning on doing something like this, builder or homeowner, and you're thinking about where to put your structure on your site. This is one of those things to think about. Go through, talk to your builder, talk to your electrician, talk to your excavation contractor, get all your calculations kind of put together, but think through that scenario. That's just something we just dropped the ball on, and this stuff happens, and now we got to figure out a solution to it. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thumbs up on the way out. Hit subscribe if you have not already. Make sure you check out the Nook playlist. Keep following as we keep on going. We're getting there. So next few videos are going to talk about some of the finished stuff, hopefully, at this point. So appreciate you guys. Till next time, keep building.